Hello, folks. Welcome back to Sound Design for Relaxation, Meditation, and Sleep. I'm your host, Dr. Lawrence W. Moore of the Wayfarer Project. Basically, about an hour ago, I started recording what was going to be this episode, and the sound design went into a different direction. But it was led by magic, so I followed it and decided I'm going to start the episode over again. And this is what we're going to do. And so basically I have a sound experiment for relaxation, meditation, and sleep coming up. This Wednesday will be the release. It was delayed from Sunday when I usually like to release them once a week. Basically the power went out due to heavy thunderstorm on that Friday morning that also spawned off a couple tornadoes and kind of wrecked power in our area, and even put down internet too, even if you had power. So basically, but Sunday things were put back to right, and so now I'm back, and this time we're going to release it on Wednesday. So anyway, what I was going to do was didgeridoo, this sound that kind of has some elements of didgeridoo and some elements of Tibetan singing bowl. And I'll show you how I was kind of looking for those things in the sound, and then I'll show you what it became. And something magical that I think this episode is going to be titled Ethereal Timeless Ambient Pad. I don't know. Something like that. And so without further ado, we're going to look at the sound and then we're going to make it together and stuff so you can share in the magic. Okay, so if this is your first time checking out a video in this series, it is VCV Rack is the software that I utilize to do my sound designs for relaxation, meditation, and sleep. It is free software for Mac, Windows, and Linux. I'm using Linux Mint, and I have plenty of material on my channel about VCV Rack. You could go to the beginning of this series if you already know VCV Rack to kind of see what the setup ideas are that I use. And some of these modules may be familiar to you. This is what was made in the previous episode, the bottom row, the middle row, and this one that's kind of like second to top. And then the top row is what I made tonight. So we're going to put this in context. We're going to have a little bit of ocean waves. And a little bit of rain. We'll have some rain on the beach today. And then this sound that I just made. Here's where I was going a little didgeridoo. Let me back off on the rain and waves a bit here. And then I was able to do some harmonic beauty with it. Or melody, whichever way you want to look at it. And then I was finding I could do some upper register stuff. And so forth. Well, anyway, needless to say, I was feeling some magic stuff there. Okay, I'm trancing out here. So let's see how to make this. I'm saving this patch just the way it is in case I don't quite find that magic exactly again. But these are the modules, at least for what I was just playing that instrument right there. This is it. Except we are going into a mixer, and I have two effects here. A reverb, both the same reverb module, Reverb 2 from Surge XT, one preset called Now That's Echo, which I've been using a lot lately, and Amazing Big Hall. And so I have them both on this sound in equal measure right here. This sound is on a group, a subgroup, all by its lonesome, called subgroup 4. Okay, if any of this is confusing to you, but you find an interest in all this, you might want to start back at Sound Design for Relaxation, Meditation, and Sleep, Episode 1. I keep the playlist on my channel. It's all there in order. If you haven't heard any of the sound experiments yet, they are in the playlist called Sound Experiments for Relaxation, Meditation, and Sleep. I release one per week because YouTube, after about 100 views or so, likes to put ads on them, and I don't mind an ad at the beginning, but it puts it in them too. And when you're trying to meditate or sleep especially, that doesn't quite work so well, so I keep releasing new ones. But you can help me by liking, sharing, subscribing, leaving a comment, help boost this video in the algorithm so that I can get to 1,000 subs sooner. And then I can make sure that on all these sound experiments for relaxation, meditation, and sleep, there are no ads, except for the beginning, maybe. Just one at the beginning, and that's it. Nothing in the middle. All right, so anyway, let's see how to make this sound. So I've saved this. I am going to open up the patch as it was in the previous episode. The previous episode, by the way, I showed basically, here's the mix section on the bottom row. The middle section is both ocean waves and rain. I have a number of episodes throughout the series on different ways I've made ocean waves and rain sounds here in VCV Rack. A soft noise, and then binaural beats on 3 magic frequencies. And then here's synth ASMR section. The synth ASMR prickles, they sound a little bit like... I got an extra sound in there. Here's the prickle. No, that's not it. Here's the prickle. And here's some higher prickles. So anyway, that's what we did last time. Although I didn't go into detail about all the different sections because they are in the series overall. I try not to go into detail more than one time about things because then these episodes would get even longer than they already are with me talking the way I do. All right, so anyway, let us go up here, and I am going to open up the patch as it was last time. Yeah, I said that already. I just didn't do it. So here we go. That would be 14. Episode 14. There we go. So we have our... Here, I'm just going to get the zoom set up properly for what we're doing right now. Right there. Okay. And so we basically have our ocean waves, our rain, some soft noise for that section, binaural beats on 3 magic frequencies. Previous episode tells you which ones they are. Synth ASMR prickles. And now we're going to add the sound that I showed you at the beginning. In order to do this, we're going to need MIDI first of all because I play it on the keyboard. I record these when I get into a trance and just do it. I record them in real time to audio file and then release them with a blank screen these days. Because these are for listening. Used to put some visualizations in, but that's a lot of extra work when really it's mostly meant to be listened to. And when you're trying to get to sleep or meditate, you don't want light in the room to disturb you. So anyway, I need to make some more stuff here. So that's our MIDI input so I can play with my controller keyboard. And then we need a modern VCO from Surge XT. Free modules here. They're from the broader VCV Rack library. I use the Surge XT modules a lot. They're really fine modules. And they are free, so there are no impediments to using them. So let's go here to pitch control. And we now have this on pitch. I'm going to make the waveform first, and then I'm going to duplicate it afterwards. But next, we're going to use the envelope generator from Surge XT. A beautiful envelope generator that does stereo as well as mono. You feed the audio right into it, and it will give you an enveloped version of that audio right out. And this is going to be on channel 16 of the mixer. 1 channel left. Well, it could be stereo, and it will be. Okay, so right now, we need to hook up the gate, and we're going to hear sound, and then we'll craft the waveform. Oops. I like to use green for gate. That's blue. Don't worry, we're going to have fun. Don't worry. Just go along for the ride. Yeah, that's got to be changed. So here we go. I like enough harmonics, but not too many. So we're going to turn off the saw here by making it midnight on this dial. We're going to have full triangle. And then we're going to take the square here, turn it up a little bit until we get a shape like a Vermana. Yes, we're going ancient aliens, folks. Got a vintage video game sound just like that. Just like that. But what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to take this module and duplicate it now that we found a waveform. I know it's going to sound quite different than that, but that is the base pudding, as they might say. Who says that other than me? Not many people say that. All right, so here we go. And I'm going to go left out from here because it is the mono out when there's only one channel coming out of here. I mean, it has a stereo out, but I'm using each one as a mono one because that's the only way I can get a different pitch on either side, left and right. This is going to be having some element of binaural beating in it, but since it's not a stable tone, that beating rate does change as you play in different regions of the frequency spectrum. But I just like the kind of chorusing effect that it has. And since I found magic the way I did it, I'm just going to do it that way again. All right, so we're going to set this one up. I like to pitch things according to A432 tuning, which means you want your middle Cs to be 256.87 hertz. And since these are going to be chorused binaurally, I'm going to make this a 254.87. That's 2 hertz lower. And this will be 2 hertz higher, 258.87. So 256.87 is the perceived central frequencies between the left and right headphones. And I do ask that folks use headphones when hearing my sound experiments for relaxation, meditation, and sleep. So they're coming in here left and right and going into the mixer left and right. So now one of them's changing pitch and the other one is not. What? Oh, I hooked this up to mod 1 instead of... There we go. Okay, yeah. Don't worry, we'll get there. We are going to make this a polyphonic sound. Click on the MIDI module there. And I'll make it 7 voices. I like the number 7. Okay, I did not do something right there. Did I do something else other than... Oh, that's right. I did something else. I don't know what I set wrong, but here is where you do polyphony. And I've been using this almost every day for like the past 7 months, folks, and I still... oh, I changed pitch bend. Well, we might as well put that on an octave for now. There we go. Yeah, I wanted to change that anyway, so... Beautiful stuff. Now I am going to add a filter. VCF, voltage controlled filter. Once again from the fine folks at Surge XT, and we're going to go through this filter. We're going to add a second one too, but right now we're going to do one. And I want to do this one first because this will probably make a little more sense if we do it this way. All right, and so we're hearing like a low pass right there. I'm hearing a little bit of distortion, but we will rectify that later because we're not even going to use a low pass. We use a band pass, or yeah, a band accentuation. And as you can hear here, when we change the central frequency, I'm going to say, now previously I've been using a sound very similar to what I'm developing here. We're going to take a different direction with it, But if you've heard like Sound Experiment 16, 15, I use variations on this sound that are like this, except it has reverb, sounds a little different. But if you're interested in any of those sounds, this is kind of like, at least the beginning of this is how I made those. Except I had LFOs modulating the center frequency, the resonance, and the drive on this. But we're not going to do it that way again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the mod wheel so that I can be more expressive about changing these parameters when I want to. And so I wanted to set this here at the lowest range of where I want to go in sweeping the center frequency, and then I hit the mod 1 button so that now I can left click on this dial and say how far it's going to go. But what I'm going to do is turn the mod wheel all the way up. Right about there. So now, when I move the mod wheel after turning off the mod 1 button, we got our range. And I was feeling a lot of didgeridoo-ness from that. Should we call it didgeridoo-doo? And then I'm going to add a little reverb. Now that's echo and amazing big hall. Unfortunately, I did not tell it to go to subgroup 4 yet, because that's the send I used. Now to make some of these harmonics stand out a bit, here, let's look at this channel here on the parametric EQ. If I want them to stand out a bit more, I need to compress them. And that would be channel 8 on this second compressor here. This one being channels 1 through 8, this one being 9 through 16. But on this compressor, it's called channel 8. And we're going to turn off bypass, lower the threshold, and then turn up the output a bit. It should be right there. Lower the threshold more, now we see it. Now what I want to do here is make sure I don't get some of the frequencies up here that are a little bit buzzy. Here's your didgeridoo-ness. Let's lower this. Get rid of some of the extra buzziness that was a little more synthesizer-like. Bend the Q a bit like that. But now let's hear it on some other notes. Like we're polyphonic here, so let's try the D above that, A above that, like there. And in the past, I've liked to try and get sounds similar to Tibetan singing bowls, and this sound was giving me a little bit of that. I've had other creations in this series that are closer or maybe more true to just being a Tibetan singing bowl, but I wanted to be able to use this to do this kind of stuff. And then now that I've turned these all the way up and these most of the way up, we're getting a slow attack. Now, with the mod wheel control, this sounds more like Tibetan singing bowls if you just play the keys. And it sounds even more like them with a slower attack and release. So I'm turning these up even more. Now, of course, that's not Tibetan singing bowls. I'm sorry, I'm just playing around there. But something like this. If you just go up. The movement is a little too far. But in any case, this makes a great ambient pad like this. But now, you add another dimension to it. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add another one of these very fine VCFs. And I'm going to put it in between. What I'm going to use this one for is a notch filter, because I found that I was able to kind of attenuate these harmonics a little bit with that in just the right kind of way where it seemed to be hitting the right frequency areas to, I don't know, make this sound a little bit better. But this is not the right one. We want a notch. Like that one. What I did is I found, where's the bottom of my range? Right about there. How about that? And we'll hit the mod button, hook this up to the mod wheel. I'm going to turn the mod wheel all the way up, and then turn this up to where I want its top of the range to be. Kind of there where I'm kind of playing with this, almost fighting it in a way. Let's turn that off and see. There, I like that. Now let's try it on the note I was playing. I threw you off there a little bit. And then I decided, you know what? I want a little delay on this for all those different filter changes. And so I got out the Surge XT delay module. And I put it like this, right in after the envelope generator, right after the ADSR. Because if you put it before, this doesn't handle polyphony well, it doesn't handle polyphony, so you can't have it in the signal change before the ADSR. The ADSR handles polyphony just fine, and then you can add your delay and then go audio out to the mixer. So now I like to put this crossfade up about to here, otherwise it's a little too much feedback. Turn up the depth of the feedback a little bit. And now let's increase the rate. There is a clock to this, but there's no tempo in my sound experiments for RMS. And then the delays itself, I changed to, we're in seconds here, so I'll just have to feel for it again. I had them close, but not the same. Now the parameters are not exactly the same. Turn the rate down a little bit. Let's try changing this a little bit here. Move a little further apart. Doing some pitch wheel here. Okay, I've just left you staring at this module for a while. Alrighty, so this is kind of like version 2. Now that you see the general build of it, we can go back to the one I made earlier, which I think has a little more magic to it than this one. Although this one has some cool attributes. But we will look at some of the attributes as they are different in the other one. I am hooking this up in case I decide to use this for something. That is a gate input, not a gate input, a controller, continuous controller input from MIDI that allows me to use the slider on my keyboard, the 9th one, to do even slower fade-ins and fade-outs, or control them with that rather than just the envelope, because sometimes I need to come in a little bit more slow. All right, so let's save this one and take a look at the other one. Same modules, same principles, but just slightly different values. I did not memorize the numbers or anything, but I save patches, so I save versions of it. This is save as, right? No, that was save. Oh, well, I can rectify that just by deleting this instrument, and it'll be back to the way it was for episode 14. I need to zoom in, folks. Sorry, save as. There we go. And this goes down here to version B. And we can replace that. Now, I am going to open. Here, let's just do it now. Delete that, and then we can save as. So the end of episode 14 has what it had at the end of that episode. Replace, yes. And now we're going to open up the one I played at the beginning of this episode, which somehow to me is feeling a little bit more magical than this latest one. So here we are. As you see, same modules. It really, I think, has a lot to do with the placement of this notch in relationship to this bandpass here. Here, I think I set it to start in a higher frequency and move up to a higher frequency, because this one is not sounding as dulled in the frequency spectrum department. Here looks like just a slightly slower rate in the delay, or a slightly lower delay time. And then over here, as you see, I still have the low pass, maybe at a higher frequency of cutoff, just to eliminate some of the higher frequency buzzing, but maybe I'm allowing a little bit more in, so it sounds a little bit brighter. And then here on channel 8, which we are on, here's the settings of threshold and out, which is all I adjusted. As you see, it's not compressing a lot. Signal's probably not strong enough to be compressed a lot, but I am boosting the output. All right, so now let's try her out with the other sounds. Give you a little sneak peek of what might happen for Wednesday's release. because this is the one I will be using. I think for this, I am going to make an adjustment here. Traditionally, you're not supposed to use an EQ to do this sort of thing, but these, when I'm playing polyphonically, the drone gets cut out. This compressor might be able to do a little bit more for us. Thing is, when I move the cutoff, Can't do that too much. Of course, at some point, a soft noise comes in. Binaural beats. But I do this much more gradually. And a lot less doodling around. But anyway, you get the idea. So this is what I guess I will officially call Ethereal Ambient Pad. And it will be part of my sound experiment for relaxation, meditation, and sleep. Number 17, to be released Wednesday night in those of us that are not really far east. East Coast of the United States. It should be out for those in the UK just before bedtime, like midnight, your time. All right, folks. Well, thank you for joining me. And until next time, take care and stay ethereal.